Across the causeway, Malaysia's parliament convened for the first time since Perikatan Nasional took over as federal government.
But in another historical first, it sat for just one day and only hosted a speech by the king. In fact, the session lasted just 45 minutes. This left no time for representatives to discuss policies for addressing the pandemic or go through a planned confidence vote against Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin.
Let's delve deeper into this with the Straits Times Malaysia Bureau Chief Shannon Teoh. Good to have you back on the show, Shannon. So, although today's parliament sitting was short, did it reveal where party loyalties have settled in the seating arrangement, for instance?
Well, I think we largely kind of got a rough idea, plus minus one sort of thing, and it did turn out like that. So the government bench revealed that they had 114 MPs, one more than we expected, and the opposition had 107, and one remaining as an independent. This isn't so. Muhyiddin has one more MP than we thought. This is still pretty precarious for him because simple majority is 112. He's got 114 now. We don't know what could happen in the future. Of course, you could be sitting at a particular position, but your heart and your mind is thinking something else. When it comes to the point to actually vote on something, people could vote either way. At this point, no one's loyalty has actually been tested.
Shannon, Parliament ended proceedings once the King completed his opening speech, meaning it didn't hear Mahathir Mohamad's motion of no confidence in Mr. Muhyiddin. Where does this leave Dr. Mahathir?
Well, I think we shouldn't really get caught up in whether the specific motion of no confidence is heard. There are many ways to show that the government does not have the majority. For example, the Muhyiddin government has announced a stimulus package for the coronavirus to the amount of about 35 billion ringgit. He has to get this approved in Parliament. You cannot spend any money unless Parliament says you can. This has to come up to Parliament at some point. And people believe that it will be in July when Parliament returns. The government, if it loses that vote, that would be pretty major because it is a supply bill. It is a bill about money. The government cannot operate without spending money, obviously. And if the opposition succeeds in defeating that vote, then that would amount to a motion of no confidence in itself.
Right. Well, Shannon, Malaysia's ruling parties announced their support of Perikatan Nasional in an MOU yesterday. On the one hand, it ties together a simple majority in Parliament of at least 112 MPs. But on the other hand, this agreement doesn't detail any political arrangements. So how significant is it actually for Mr. Muhyiddin?
I think for the Prime Minister, what it does secure for him is that these parties are behind him. They say they are behind him, and that they will govern together according to so-and-so agenda. The list of policy priorities are not very surprising. They're probably the same thing every government says they will do. But it does signal that they are going to be behind him, and he will have the numbers to govern. The problem here is that it doesn't say anything about a political or electoral cooperation. If a general election is called, there is nothing in that MOU which says that yes, we will all work together, we will campaign for each other, we won't try to sabotage each other, things like that. That doesn't exist in the MOU as it stands right now. So if you were in Muhyiddin's Bersatu, well, the part of Bersatu that is with the government, not the part of Bersatu that is with Mahathir, you'd be concerned because you would be going up into the next election without any allies. You are not part of Pakatan anymore because you say you've pulled out. But you're also not part of any alliance with UMNO, especially, which is the biggest party in the country. UMNO is leading Barisan Nasional, the coalition that lost the last election, but they also have an electoral arrangement with the Islamist party PAS. So they have secured certain cooperations, a kind of certainty for themselves in terms of who they can rely on in the next election. Bersatu does not have that. So if you're one of Bersatu's 32 or 33 MPs that they have right now in government, you'd be concerned because you'd be going up against some heavyweights in the next election from both the government and the opposition.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for taking time to speak with us. As always, we appreciate your insight and analysis. That was our Malaysia Bureau Chief, Shannon Teoh, joining us from Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia's parliament set for only a day in a historical first. The next session will take place on July 13th.